hired Matt full time in his working partner. And she said, well, yeah, I hired him 6 months ago, Bill. Just stuff happens, man. But speaking of things happening, I don't know if you got this story. So I went to Cornell because of a clerical error in the admissions department. Mistakes were made. You can't blame them. It's a fine place. So I finished my mechanical engineering requirements. I took one class from this guy, Carl Sagan. He was a poet. They're right now reconfiguring memory on the Voyager 1 spacecraft, the way you do, 40 years on, let's see, 37 years on. Yeah, that's how you do that. And that mission is still flying, and I just want you to know, I was in class when Carl Sagan said we're going to have a rock and roll song on the record. And I claim I was instrumental in making sure it was Johnny B. Good. So I say this because I'm so old. I grew up with Chuck Berry, the guy who wrote the song. And I know, Bethany, this will be your first total solar eclipse. This will be my third. And they are spectacular. And I can tell you from experience in 2002, there was a total eclipse in South Africa, on the east coast of South Africa, and it was cloudy. It's still amazing and spectacular and out of your everyday experience. But my understanding is Jen has sent a couple memos to the cloud people, and they're going to move that out of the way for those few minutes. And I'll just tell you, even cloudy, you guys, I know you've heard this, wear your glasses. Because the human nature thing is you just want to stare at it. You just want to stare at the sun. And we've all looked at the sun, I think, mostly, right? If you've ever tried to catch a fly ball, you've looked at the sun for a moment, but you just can't stare at it. But so in 1980, Carl Sagan sent a letter to people who had been in school. I got a letter in the mail. I see some of the young people. It was plant-based information store. You can store information on this. It's grown on plants. So I joined. And then Carl Sagan's kids watched the Science Guy show, so I was asked to be on a board. And then we gave, because they all knew each other, we gave Stephen Hawking the Cosmos Award. And he accepted, because he knew Carl Sagan and they were contemporaries or knew each other well enough. And so then he accepted it, and it was very cool. And then we went out to a pub in Cambridge, England. Woo! Cambridge, England pubs. I'm a board member. Yes. And I was on one side talking to somebody, and then most of the guys were on the other side, and they took a vote. And that's how I became CEO. You guys all know Neil deGrasse Tyson. I would say to me, they'll do that for 2 years. Do that for 2 years and then move on, you'll be fine. Well, that was almost 14 years ago. So it's really been an honor to serve you all. And we have just a unique role. And coming together to watch this eclipse tomorrow is, of course, moving and wonderful and reminds us of our special place in the cosmos. But what we do that no other organization, including Space Administration, space agencies, do not do, is we keep, I think, our eyes on the big prizes. There are two questions, and Bruce Murray, who's one of the founders, used to say this all the time. There are two questions that all of us have asked. And as I say, if you meet somebody who says he's never asked this question, he is lying to you. Where did we come from? Where did we come from? And are we alone in the cosmos? And it is very reasonable to me that, for example, in your lifetime, young person lifetime, you will be around when life is found on other worlds. And when life is found on other worlds, either on some run-of-the-mill place like the surface of Mars. Anybody can go there. Or Enceladus, or Europa, or Titan, or a very, very, very distant planet going around another star. Very reasonable that someone will find that while you're still alive. And I claim that will change the world. And the reason that happened is because of you, because of your support. And so I know not everybody is from the States, but NASA is still a world leader in space exploration. If you are of a mind, I strongly encourage you to come to Washington for our April Days of Action. This is where we go to congresspeople and senators' offices and remind them of the importance of space exploration, especially planetary science. Now look, kids, peoples, I applied to be an astronaut 4 times. I'm all for it. Has anybody else applied to be an astronaut? Anybody know? How many PhDs do you have? Just the one. Yeah. Because you need 5 or 6. And then how many marathons do you run a month? The people are just these overachieving wild people. So thank you. That is cool and interesting, but where the great discoveries are made, where the world-changing discoveries are made, are on other worlds. And that's done because we go to NASA, which then influences ESA, European Space, Canadian Space, JAXA, Japanese Aerospace, is a leader. NASA's a leader, and by influencing NASA, we give the world a nudge. So if you're of a mind, come to Washington in April, later this month. And it's really exciting to meet with congresspeople. And so, you know, there's a lot of division in the world right now, especially in the U.S., but space exploration brings these people together. They relax. It's fun to talk about Mars and Europa and exoplanets. So consider it. Now, with all that said, you guys, tomorrow is going to be a cool day. And I hope there's that, hope's not a plan, but I hope that there's that moment where we all have a hush when it turns dark, and then I hope we all go crazy. Because, as Carl Sagan used to say, if you were a psychic, tarot card reader, conventional leader of some sect, if you could make predictions the way astronomers make predictions, you would give your eye teeth. That was the expression. So tomorrow we will celebrate the process of science that enables us to know the cosmos and our place within it. Thank you all so much for coming.
So we will also be on the main stage tomorrow, where the program will